Hey there. Those of you that have watched a lot of my videos have probably picked up that a lot of my political views tend to lean to the left. Now, there may be those of you out there that think I'm just some overly educated northeastern liberal weenie. Well, to those of you who think that, I have one thing to say, and that is veal is tasty. Veal is delicious. I love to eat veal. I love eating murdered baby cow. It is tender, it is succulent, it is delicious, and I eat it without a bit of guilt. Veal is very, very tasty. And I bring that up because I wanted to talk a little bit about PETA, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals. I'm not a big fan of PETA or people that spend a lot of time promoting PETA. And the reason why is I don't think people should waste any time worrying about whether animals are being treated ethically as long as there's at least one person in the world who's not being treated ethically. I have nothing against animals, but I just think that people should come first. That's all I'm saying. People should come first. To put it another way, as long as there's a person out there who's being treated like a dog, we shouldn't worry about treating dogs like people. That's my point. And I like dogs. I'm not a big fan of stuff like dog fighting or anything like that. But let me tell you, if Michael Vick had donated the money he made from dog fighting to feed starving children in Africa, I would consider Michael Vick to be a hero, no matter how many dogs he killed. I would personally kill 1 million cute little puppies with my bare hands if I thought it could save the life of one person. So that's what I feel about PETA. That being said, I am trying to be more vegetarian, but it's not for the animals, it's for us. It's for us as a people. Because as you may be aware, the production of meat isn't particularly good for the environment. There's a lot of animal waste, creates a lot of pollution, and it is a tremendous waste. We grow all these soybeans. What are we growing all these soybeans for? How many people do you know that eat tofu? Not too many people eat a lot of tofu. We grow all these soybeans and all this corn and stuff, and lots of it goes towards animal feed. So you have to take this tremendous amount of food, good healthy food, gets fed, to a cow or a pig or something, and then we eat the pig. But the amount of food we get from the cow or pig is tiny compared to what we just grew. And there are people starving in the world, and we're growing all this food and feeding it to livestock. That doesn't seem particularly ethical. Also, it creates a lot of global warming, all the meat production industry. I read in the New York Times Magazine recently that if everybody cut down the amount of meat they ate by 20%, it would be equivalent of everybody in the country driving a Prius. Yes, I'm quoting the New York Times. I'm talking about Priuses and global warming. Yeah, and I'm trying to be more vegetarian, so yeah, I guess maybe I'm a liberal weenie, but not for the reasons that a PETA person would do that. Just a little bit about my attempt to be vegetarian. I kind of use Lent as a kickoff point. I'm Catholic, and during Lent, you generally will give something up. On Fridays during Lent, Catholics are not supposed to eat any meat with the exception of fish. And actually, that goes back to the time from the very beginning of the church. It used to be every Friday you had to do that. No meat except for fish, until Vatican Council II in the 60s, where they said, okay, you only have to worry about it during Lent. And I just want to make a quick point. I find it very curious that the church had a policy for thousands of years that said you can only eat fish. That's the only meat you can eat is fish on Fridays. And if you think about who were the people who started the church, the apostles, what they did for a living, they were fishermen. I don't know if there's a connection there. I'm just saying. Okay? Think about it. And so in any case, the last couple of years during Fridays of Lent, because I happen to like fish a lot more than I like regular meat, I said, let me just eat tofu on Fridays during Lent. It'll be more of a denial for myself. This year I said, let's go all the way. Let's eat tofu for lunch, every single day at Lent. And lunch is the meal of the day where I probably eat the most meat. I don't really eat meat for breakfast. Maybe just a muffin or peanut butter bread or something like that. Usually at work, I usually go to a Chinese restaurant and eat a big whopping meal, for lunch. That's probably my biggest meal of the day. It's where I eat the most meat. I didn't change the way I'm eating dinner. I didn't want to affect how my family eats. I didn't want to bother with that. But if it's easy, go to a restaurant, you order something that's tofu. There, you can be vegetarian at work for 40 days. And that's basically what I did. I also told myself that I wasn't going to eat stuff like pizza, not because I don't like pizza or have a problem with pizza. It's just that eating pizza very often isn't very healthy. I mean, cheesy, it's not good for your heart. So basically I was eating tofu every day. And, what I found curious about that is that when your stomach isn't used to eating that much, tofu and stuff, tofu is bean-based. And thankfully, yeah, nothing was coming out of the bottom there, but there was a lot of gas. I felt like I had a continual gas bubble in my gut, and for about 2 or 3 weeks, I felt like burping continually. It eventually passed, but it was just an interesting side effect of all that tofu. Lent has ended. Lent's been over for 2 weeks, and I've gone back to eating meat, though now the tofu dishes that I've discovered, are now more part of my rotation. As the last 10 meals I've eaten at work, 6 of them have been tofu dishes. So, as I said, I'm trying to eat more, be more vegetarian. I don't think I'll ever be completely vegetarian. I think you should do everything in moderation. But I think eventually, my goal is to one day have meat kind of be more like a luxury, not a staple. That's not going to happen overnight. When I first started at work, I'm a computer programmer. I used to drink Coca-Cola, caffeine-filled Coca-Cola all day long. Not exactly good for you. Over time, I gave up caffeine. Then I gave up just soda in general because I didn't like how it felt in my stomach eventually. And then I started to give up sugary drinks. And today, 15 years after I started work, the only things I drink at work are water, fruit juices, and unsweetened soy milk. Now, you don't go from drinking Coca-Cola to unsweetened soy milk overnight. It took me 15 years. So it may take a couple of years. It may take many, many years. It might take 10 years for me to really be practically vegetarian. I don't think I'll ever be completely vegetarian. I don't think I'll ever completely give up meat. I don't want to. And the reason why is because veal is tasty.